Real Estate is a full-service commercial real estate brokerage and advisory firm specializing in office, retail, medical, industrial, and investment properties in the southern New Jersey and Philadelphia region. They provide a complete range of real estate services to commercial landlords, tenants, investors, developers, banks, commercial loan servers, guided by their total commitment to their clients and their community. For all of your commercial real estate needs, please call WCRE at 856-857-6300. Also, Paul Rumbos wants to thank Brian Andreo, Jay Davidson, and the Major Medical family for all their dedication during these trying times in healthcare. Currently, they are looking for motivated individuals with degrees in biomedical engineering, specialty compressor pump mechanics, and administrative staff. Call 1-800-969-1300, extension 107 if interested. And Major Medical supports Brian Propp getting into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, let's go to the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline and welcome in ex-Flyer Jeff Harding. What's up, Hards?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hardy boy, you're on your way down to the Jersey Shore.
Absolutely. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. The other day was Canadian Day or Canada Day?
Canada Day.
Canada Day, yeah. So,
you know what he did to me? You know what he did to me, Scooter? He hit me with about 17 Canadian flags on my text message.
Good for him.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Is traffic coming down?
Yeah, we're kind of taking this back way, the scenic route, so hopefully we can have a stress-free ride all the way down.
That's cool. So, Hart, you got to play with Proper in the late 80s there, last couple of years before he got traded to Boston. What was it like, playing with Brian? And, obviously you've got some stories about things that he's done off the ice, but what about some of the great things that he did on the ice while you were there?
Yeah, so the thing with Proppy was, and I know the push to get him into the Hall of Fame, and I definitely support that 100% because this is a guy year in, year out, over 1,000 games played. He just really had the ability to be consistent every year, no matter where he was. And, maybe there were some guys that scored higher numbers, but look at the 30, 40 goal seasons that Proppy has had. So he's just a consistent contributor year in, year out. And from an organizational standpoint, to have a guy do that each and every season is something that you have to really look at that durability when you want to put someone into the Hall of Fame.
We've talked with Jeff Harding, former Flyer, and this is the push to get Brian Propp into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And Hards, I mean, one reason we talked about this, Scotty McKay and I, as we do this push, is I guess politics plays a big part in because if you look at his numbers, like you said, 8 out of his 15 years, he scored more than 30 goals.
Yeah, I mean, if you look all the way through, the time that I was with him, he was just a consistent performer, no peaks and valleys. He was always there, and you could count on him to, be there on the power play and be that offensive punch. But, there's a lot of tangibles about certain individuals that maybe a lot of people don't know. And the thing about Proppy is he's just a class act. And I'll never forget, just turning 19 years of age, coming in and, everybody's got their own things that they have to worry about, but he welcomed me with open arms, and that's something that I'll never forget just because with everything that's going on, this is a guy that, cared about his teammates. And when you look at the contributions he's made for the community, for his other teammates, this is just somebody that is just the poster child of the Hall of Fame.
Well, I can't agree with you more. I mean, obviously I lived with him from 87 till about the middle of 88, and in a big heyday time for the Flyers. And he said, hey, listen, you're out of your place where you're at and you're buying a new house, but it's not going to be for a little while. Come live with me. And he and Scotty Melmy and I lived together for a year and a half, and he's just been a great guy. Even when I broke my neck, this was a couple weeks after I was the best man in his wedding in 92. And even after that, I broke my neck when he was on his honeymoon. He came back. He says, listen, I said, you stay with us. I'm like, wait a minute, you guys just got married. You're still on your honeymoon. Kind of, but he's a class guy. And you've got a great story about when, you had a severe knee injury that kind of ended your career. And you got, I think, a pretty good story about, one of the guys that came to see you was probably after this all happened.
Yeah, there's only a few guys that I can really, on one hand look at it. And Proppy and Jay Wells were two guys that took me underneath their wing when I needed them. And at that point in time, there wasn't a lot of assistance for young players. And, veteran players, it was critical to try to mold their future. So, in the back of my mind, not only was he a fantastic, consistent performer, but this is a guy that cared about his teammates, on and off the ice.
Hey, Hardy boy, what kind of practice player was Proper? He wasn't too vocal. Was he vocal? He had a great work ethic, but what type of a practice player was he?
Yeah, so Proppy's got a unique personality, and so you try to figure it out, but you know what? He's passionate, right? And so his passion was always evident in the game, and it was when it was time to play, it was game on for Proppy. But he liked to have a lot of fun, and I think, in that time period with hockey, it was so important to have a veteran leader like that was able to, identify the different types of the game that was out there, when it was time to play and when it was time to enjoy your teammates and family.
Yep, he certainly knew what to do after the game was over. That's for sure. We had a few good nights, but yeah. So I think that was one of the great things about those Flyers teams in the '80s was the fact that they bonded together. The veterans, the Howes, the McCrimmons, the Kerrs, the Props, the Poulins, all bonded with guys like yourself and Scotty Mellenby and Rick Tocchet and Peter Zezel and Derek Smith and the Sutters.
You're naming the whole team there, kid.
Well, I know. It's pretty easy to do. I kind of was around at that time, but I think that's what kept that team together. And it's hard to see that anymore today. It seems like the guys today, like the Giroux, and they go off in their own direction and they're not hanging. But this young team has kind of pulled this even Flyers team together now.
Yeah, it's interesting because you would come out of the Coliseum or out of the Spectrum at the time, and you were readily available for your fans. And Proppy's always signing autographs. Always. Oh yeah. Leading by example. But nowadays, the guys make so much money. Now you're shielded from that, and they head to their cars. It's a little bit of a different animal, but I think the one thing that the Flyers organization has been known for ever since I was drafted by them in '87 is they're very loyal, and they're loyal to their people, and they keep their people around. That could be to their fault in some degree, but I think that's quite a characteristic that a lot of society is kind of gotten away from, but I definitely respect that, and it was evident in their players. Tim Kerr, big man, was a great example as well.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Billy had told me a little while ago in one of our breaks that you were going to you guys are going to be meeting up tonight for a couple pops, and I hope you brought your wallet because you know how that goes when he shows up. His pockets are empty.
Well, it sounds like Billy needs a couple of diet pops.
Oh, looks like it too.
Hey, Hardy boy, you make me wear a mask in your house tonight?
So the coronavirus has been good to Billy.
Oh, are you kidding me? He's got a different kind of virus. He's got a cheeseburger virus.
All right, Hardy boy, listen, man, we really appreciate it. I'll see you later on tonight. Listen, thank you so much. Happy 4th of July. And get down to the Jersey Shore, man. The water's warm.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great 4th.
Good talking to you, Hearts. And now that segment was brought to you by Wolf Commercial Real Estate. They're a full-service commercial real estate brokerage and advisory firm specializing in office, retail, medical, industrial, and investment properties in southern New Jersey and the Philadelphia region. They provide a complete range of real estate services to commercial landlords, tenants, investors, developers, banks, commercial loan servicers, guided by their total commitment to their clients and their community. For all of your commercial real estate needs, please call WCRE at 856-857-6300. And Paul Rumbos wants to thank Brian Andreo, Jay Davidson, and the Major Medical family for all their dedication during these trying times in healthcare. Currently, they are looking for motivated individuals with degrees in biomedical engineering, specialty compressor pump mechanics, and administrative staff. Call 1-800-969-1300, extension 107 if you're interested.
All right, when we return, we will go to the beach. I told Hardy Boy the water's warm. Well, we're going to go down to Cape May and talk with the newly minted chief of the Beach Patrol, Cape May Beach Patrol, Jeff Rife. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.